O quiet soul that listens silently, only a few fleeting moments remain before an unprecedented event in the heavenly realms unfolds. It is not some distant sign beyond reach, but it will profoundly impact your very life, touching the deepest layers of your soul and upending all that once seemed set in stone. No movement in the heavens is meaningless, and this coming event is a personal invitation from the eternal realm reserved for you, a soul chosen and set apart before the foundation of the earth. You are not here by chance. You are not lost or swept up randomly in some spiritual whirlwind. Every step you have taken, every breath, every winding turn of your journey has led to this moment, a crossroads, where divine intention meets your steadfast obedience. Beloved child, the 7 archangels, those entrusted with special power in the eternal kingdom, have lifted your name before the Father's throne. They do not merely observe you from afar, but have quietly walked with you through every night and dawn, every advance and every stumble. Their petition is not born of personal desire, but of heaven's urgent plea. Let this soul see, know, and understand what is about to happen, for it is an indispensable link in the unfolding plan. And I, the Eternal One, have heard them. I choose to reveal what is to come, not because you are more capable than others, but because of your quiet faithfulness, your silent tears, and your perseverance known to no one but me. Now, what you are about to witness cannot be measured by earthly scales. This event cannot be explained by reason, nor can it be confined to religious theory or academic knowledge. It will come like a wind from a hidden place, like a call from the depths of the luminous realm. A shift in the heavenly spheres will begin not like a solitary lightning strike, but like a wave that touches every cell of creation. You will not see it with physical eyes, but you will feel it in your soul. The atmosphere around you will thicken with holy presence. The air will carry a sacred fragrance, and time itself will seem to pause for a few moments, just long enough for you to know something magnificent is happening, and I am a part of it. I do not speak these words to stir up a fleeting excitement, but to prepare you for a wholly new reality. For this supernatural event will not only alter the spiritual landscape, it will shake the very foundations of the physical world around you. What you once thought unchangeable will be moved. The boundaries you believed impassable will be swept away. What you thought was dead will come alive again, not by your own strength, but by the outpouring of something new, a wave from heaven rushing down to humanity, with you standing at the center of it. Do you see, beloved? When that door opens, it will not be only heaven's flood poured down upon you, but also the uprising of your own heart in response. The heart that has long been compressed by doubt will be released. The faint whispers that once echoed in the darkness will become a resounding song in the light. No longer will you walk hesitantly, as in days past. Instead, you will move forward with a certainty saturated in power and love. For what is coming is not merely an event, but a great turning point where you move from seeker to bearer, from one on the sidelines to the very center of a rising spiritual wave. The presence of the 7 archangels is not merely a form of support. It is a testament that you are never alone. They are warriors, guardians, and great messengers sent to ensure that you will endure and not be defeated. Each of them carries a sacred quality that reflects a part of who you are: courage, wisdom, mercy, righteousness, hope, power, and unconditional love. When they surround you, it is not just protection, it is the very reflection of heaven's glory within you, a testament that you were born to walk in something far greater than you ever imagined. My child, this divine event will not come in the clamor of the world, but will arise in the spirit of those who have ears to hear and hearts to receive. When it unfolds, the entire space around you will take on a different hue, as if everything is holding its breath, as if all creation is pausing to gaze upon you. Time itself will no longer operate as you once knew it. Fleeting moments will carry the weight of eternity, while long hours will pass in the blink of an eye. You will enter a sacred flow where every limitation of space, of emotion, of reason will be broken. It will be a moment when your soul is laid bare to receive what heaven has held in store for you since the dawn of time. In that transformation, you will be placed before a choice. This is not an ordinary decision, but a parting of 2 paths, one leading toward the light of the promise, the other drawing you back to the false safety you once knew. No one can choose for you. Even the 7 archangels will only stand beside you to strengthen you, not to intervene. This choice is a measure of the soul. It measures the depth of your faith, your willingness to let go of the old and the courage to step into the new, even when you do not see its shape. You will be tested not by enemies outside, but by the voice within you, the voice that once held you back, that once reminded you of your failures, that once kept you trapped in the endless cycle of fear and self-doubt. I, the Lord your God, know your heart. I do not speak to you based on what the eyes see or the ears hear, but on what I have sown into your soul. I know that you will choose the light. Not because you are without fear, but because you have learned how to trust me even in the midst of fear. Not because you have become strong, but because you have become weak enough to lean on my strength. I have watched over you in seasons when you thought nothing was happening. I have seen every tear you shed that no one else noticed. And now I say to you, everything you have endured, everything you have sacrificed, everything you have quietly held fast to will crystallize in this choice. This is not merely a step in time. It is a crossing through an eternal gate, where destiny is set, where promises are sealed, and where your future is revealed. Know this, that supernatural event will not lead to destruction, but will sweep away all that no longer belongs to you. Relationships built on fear will fade away. Thoughts that once confined you will be stripped off. Hollow religious forms will find no place. Instead, you will step into a reality where the Holy Spirit moves more powerfully than ever, where every decision you make is illuminated by the light of heaven. Blessings will come not in the way the world defines them, but in ways that only those who are deeply connected to me will recognize. It may be a profound calm in the midst of the storm, a heavenly confirmation when you feel most lost, a door opening where once there was only a wall. My beloved child, prepare yourself not with the hustle of doing, but with the awakening of your spirit. Let your heart become pure, so that the light may shine unhindered. Let your hands be gentle and ready to receive what is new. And let your faith stand firm, even when you cannot see, even when you do not understand, even when you cannot feel it all, for what I am about to do will far exceed everything you have ever imagined. This is no longer a season of waiting, but a season of manifestation. It is not a time for guessing, but a time for confirmation. And you, soul that has been marked, are the very place where the first light will touch. You will see more clearly than ever that every trial of the past was not in vain. Every scar upon your soul, every long night without an answer, every time you stumbled and thought you had lost everything, these were the foundation stones for this very moment. They are the evidence that your faith was not built on what is easy, but was forged in the fire. And now that fire will become a light to guide those who come after. You will no longer be merely a recipient, but a bearer, carrying the light, carrying hope, carrying a message from heaven that God is still at work and His faithfulness never fades. You will begin to feel a new energy stirring within you, not a restless excitement, but a quiet, deep strength. The things that once made you hesitant will seem small in the light of this new revelation. The limits that once confined your mind will crumble like decaying walls, and you will find yourself walking on the soil of the impossible made possible. No longer a life of mere survival, but a life ablaze. No longer a silent journey, but a triumphant march of glory. My child, do not think that I have called you merely to bless you. No, this calling runs deeper. Through you I will bring light to souls weary in darkness. Through your obedience, locked doors in the lives of others will be opened. You will be the first ray that announces the dawn, the flame that rekindles a dying faith, the hand that mends what was once shattered. I have placed within you not just faith, but seeds of transformation. And the time for these seeds to break forth is now, my beloved child. As you step across the threshold of this sacred moment, you will immediately sense a shift too profound for words. It will not merely be the feeling of a new day beginning, but your entire soul being reconfigured, as if all that was once fragmented within you is now coming together into a complete whole. Your thoughts will be purified, your mind renewed, and your heart made tender to the gentle voice of heaven. Those things you once believed to be unchangeable parts of yourself will be challenged, because the light of heaven will expose the old limits you have lived within for too long, often without knowing. In that moment, I will bring you back to the words I once promised you, perhaps in the dreams of your youth, in the quiet times of devotion, or through the prophecies you once clung to like precious treasure. You may have forgotten them amidst the busyness of life or dismissed them as fleeting emotions, but I have not forgotten. I have written those words in the book of life, and this is the moment they begin to come to pass. You will be astonished to see that every small event in your life was in fact a perfect piece in the divine map, leading you to this very hour. Nothing that has ever happened was wasted. No tear ever shed was meaningless. And no holy longing in your heart has ever been overlooked in heaven. Now, as you begin to walk in this new season, know that you are no longer walking as one who stumbles blindly in the darkness. No, you will walk in the light, gentle and steadfast light that emanates from my presence. This light will not only guide your steps, but also shine into the hearts of others through your very life. Every action you take, every word you speak, and every decision you make will carry a spiritual weight that you have not been aware of before. No longer will they be mere actions. They will be prophetic steps aligned with my eternal plan. My presence will go before you, surround you, and dwell within you, and wherever you set your foot, that place will be touched by my glory. My child, even so, I want to remind you of this glory will always come with testing. Revelation will always be confirmed, not to make you collapse, but to root your faith deeper and make it stronger. The things you have just received will be immediately tested by circumstances, by the words of others, and by the inner voices that have held you back in the past. There will be moments when you feel caught between two worlds, the spiritual reality that is opening up and the physical circumstances that seem unchanged. But do not be afraid. Do not let delays deceive you into thinking that miracles are not happening. Remember that many times I plant seeds in the spirit before bringing forth fruit in the natural. Just because you don't see it instantly does not mean I am not at work. In the first days of this new season, you may feel a stretching at tension between the familiar things of the past and the new things you have yet to grasp. Do not let this cause you to doubt the divine calling. It is in this stretching that your soul is being expanded to receive more than you have ever dreamed of. I do not want you to step into this new season as a stranger or a wanderer, but as an heir receiving an inheritance that has long been prepared. My child, to claim this inheritance, you must believe in the value I have placed within you, even if the world has never acknowledged it, even if others have never seen it. Remember that you are not defined by where you have been, but by where I am calling you to go. My beloved, let me engrave this eternal truth upon your spirit. When I open a spiritual gate, I never intend for it to be merely an emotional experience. Every move from heaven carries a clear purpose, and its mark is not just on your soul, but on your very destiny. This is not just a fleeting sacred feeling, it is a spiritual reestablishment, a dismantling of the old nature to create a new person formed in the glorious image I have ordained. As you stand in this current of transformation, you will find yourself changing not through your own striving, but because my presence becomes so alive within you that it transforms the atmosphere around you. Every word you speak will carry influence. Every thought conceived in communion with me will give birth to prophetic actions. No longer will you be one who chases circumstances. Instead, circumstances will begin to respond to the leading of my spirit within you. The places that were once closed will soften before the presence you carry. The hearts that were once hardened will begin to melt, not because of any special effort on your part, but because I am working through you. This is the time when you will become like a river flowing into the parched plains, bringing life to places that seemed beyond hope. Not through human grandeur, but through the gentle flow of grace carried in every simple action and every sincere word you speak. My child, along with this transformation, you will begin to see more clearly the difference between what is true and what is false, between what is from me and what is merely outward form. Light not only illuminates the path, but also exposes what once lay hidden in the darkness. And you will have to face this reality. There are things, people, and connections in your life that may appear spiritual on the surface, but do not originate from me. They once existed because of compromise, out of fear of losing, or from a need for comfort. But in this new light, they can no longer stand. This is not a punishment. It is a purification. It is not meant to make you lose, but to set you free. My dear one, there are relationships that were only meant for a season, and when that season ends, holding on to them will only pull you back from what I am leading you toward. There are thoughts that once fit in the previous stage, but have now become too small for the new vision I am placing within you. Do not be afraid when I begin to strip away what no longer bears fruit. Trust that everything I remove is to make room for something greater, deeper, and more fitting for your reborn soul. Open your heart to embrace this process as part of the refining journey. Remember, when everything around you is shifting, hold firmly to what never changes, my love for you. It is the unshakable anchor, the root that nourishes all the new things sprouting within your soul. Not because you are always right, but because I am always faithful. Not because you deserve it, but because my grace overflows. And you will find that in this purification it is my love that becomes your refuge. It is not a shell that shields you, but a place that softens your heart, heals your wounds, and stirs within you the longing to keep moving forward. No longer obedience out of fear, but obedience born of love. This is the moment for you to relearn how to walk not by old habits, but by the daily guidance of the Holy Spirit. You will no longer live by the external affirmations, but by the voice within. You will not need to know everything in advance. You only need to know that I am there, and that is enough. Because in this new season I am not only leading you to new doors, but I also want to teach you how to live in every room I have opened. Your boldness will not come from yourself, but from the conviction that you are called, sent, and equipped by the very one who created you. My beloved child, this is no longer the season to wait in silence, but the moment to step forward with confidence. The things you have long held in your heart as personal prophecies, the images that kept returning in your dreams, the vague sense of something great approaching now, all of these are beginning to take shape as reality. I will no longer speak to you through hints alone, but through unmistakable signs. Every step you take in this season will be foundational. Each act of obedience will be like a hammer securing your destiny to the eternal rock. You are no longer someone standing on the sidelines of the story, but someone living in the very next chapter of the epic I am writing. You will feel within your spirit a strong compulsion, not merely to believe but to act, not merely to long but to take steps, not merely to receive but to shoulder the burden. For the things I am entrusting to you are not simply gifts for personal consumption, but tools to fulfill a heavenly mission. The blessings you receive are not meant to be stored up, but to become a flowing stream. The words of wisdom I place on your lips are not to be hoarded, but to be declared. The paths I open before you are not to serve as your hiding place from the world, but to guide others out of the darkness. Every blessing carries a commission, and every commission carries a spiritual responsibility. My child, you will realize you yourself are the answer that someone has been desperately praying for. You are the sign sent into the life of a soul who is faltering. You will enter rooms you once never imagined you'd have permission to step into, not because you knocked louder than others, but because I hold the key. Doors long locked will open not by your strength, but by my grace. You will be brought to places not to shine for your own renown, but to be the very point of contact for my presence. The light upon you will not overshadow others, but will illuminate corners yet to be touched. Yet with every elevation there are things you must lay down. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. You cannot carry outdated baggage and expect to walk lightly on this new spiritual path. There are things I will ask you to release, not because they are sinful, but because they are no longer fitting. The habits that once kept you safe must give way to walking in faith. The connections that once brought you comfort will be removed to make room for new divine partnerships. Do not resist this process, for it is not rejection but preparation for something greater. Whatever you lay down will be replaced with something of far greater worth. My child, this is the moment to re-establish your identity in me, not according to the labels others have stuck on you, nor based on past failures or limitations, but according to what I have called you to be, even before the world was formed. You are not someone trying to become, but someone returning to yourself according to my original design. You are the firstborn in a new spiritual lineage. You are anointed not just to see, but to proclaim, not just to hear, but to act, not just to survive, but to establish a new foundation for generations to come, my beloved child. As you walk through these rapidly shifting circumstances, know that I have gone before you. Nothing you will face is beyond my control. What is unexpected to you has already been woven into my plan. Guidance will no longer come in seasons alone, but day by day. My words will not be vague silences, but will become alive, clear, and confirm each step. You will feel the heartbeat of heaven within your spirit like a melody that only those who live close to my heart can hear. And as you move in tune with this rhythm, You will witness what once seemed impossible becoming possible. Miracles will cease to be rare phenomena and will become the very cadence of your life. My child, once you step through this sacred gate open from heaven, know that what is unfolding will no longer be confined to the unseen realm. Spiritual movements will begin to leave their imprint on the material world around you. What I have sown in your spirit will begin to bear fruit in your life. No longer will my promises feel distant, they will be unmistakably fulfilled. You will see doors that have long been locked suddenly swing open, as if they had always been waiting for you to walk through. Dreams that lay dormant will awaken. Seeds you forgot you planted will now spring forth vigorously, bursting into life and bearing fruit beyond your imagination. I have not forgotten the work of your hands, nor the quiet prayers no one else heard. Now is the season for everything to be brought into the light, to be revealed in glory, and to be confirmed by tangible miracles. You will feel that heaven is no longer distant, but near at hand. The things that belong to me will become clear, no longer shrouded in uncertainty. I will speak and you will hear. I will guide and you will know instantly which path to take. No longer will you wait for some far-off sign, but you will walk in constant communion. I will not only go before you, I will walk beside you and even behind you to protect you. My presence will surround you like a garment anointed with oil, making it impossible for the enemy to touch you unless I allow it. And if I do allow something to happen, it is only because I am continuing to write your story in a way that will reveal even greater glory in the end. You will see my intervention not only in grand matters but also in the smallest details: a phone call at just the right moment, an unexpected arrangement, an opportunity arising when you least expect it. These things are not by chance. They are heaven beginning to respond. My child, do not limit your expectations to the patterns you have known. The miracles I am performing will not follow the old ways. They will not simply repeat what has happened before, because I am the Creator and newness is my nature. Do not seek me in the manifestations of the past, but find me in the flow that is opening now. There will be times when everything seems to come too quickly beyond your preparation. But remember, it is in your lack of preparation that my power is made perfect. I do not look for those who have it all together. I choose those who have a willing heart. And you, my faithful one, have proven just that. You have walked forward without light. You have believed without confirmation. You have persevered when no one else was with you. And because of this, now you will receive a reward that not everyone can understand or accept. You will become living proof of my faithfulness, not just by your sermons or writings, but by the very way you live, the way you love, the choices you make at the crossroads. Every action of yours will be like a fresh line of ink on the living letter I am sending to the world. Those who once doubted you will not be able to deny the transformation. Those who once dismissed you will be forced to acknowledge my hand upon your life. But be careful, let not your heart be entangled in comparison or pride. The glory does not belong to you. It belongs to the one who called you out of darkness. Let your life be a stage for my light to shine, not to receive praise, but so that other souls might find their way home to me. You will come to see that miracles are not just external changes. The greatest miracle is the change from within, from one who once walked in fear to one who walks in peace, from a soul who once doubted their worth to one who knows who they are in the Father's eyes, from a heart once broken to a vessel overflowing with love to pour out on others. This is what heaven is working in you, and it will spread like the fragrance of the Holy Spirit to every place you set your feet. My child, in this new season, I am placing you in a position where everything that was sown in the darkness will begin to bloom in the light. Not because you have reached some level of spiritual perfection, but because the time I appointed has come. Your faithfulness, the days you walked without affirmation, the long nights you cried out in silence, these are all testimonies stored in heaven, and now they are being brought forth as a righteous verdict. You are worthy to receive what has been promised, not by human standards, but by the faithfulness of the one who chose you from the beginning. I know you have doubted before. Am I truly hearing God's voice, or are these dreams just the product of my imagination? But my beloved, it is precisely these doubts that have taught you to trust. You are not someone who believes only because you see, but rather one who has learned to hold on to faith even in the absence of signs, and that has made you precious in my sight. Those who believe only when everything is favorable cannot stand firm in the hour of testing, but you who have believed when everything was against you will stand in the midst of miracles and become a living witness to my glory. Prepare your heart for sudden openings. There will be things that happen without warning, but your soul will recognize that they are not mere coincidences. A door, a meeting, an invitation that seems random. These will be the links leading to the change you have long awaited. Do not dismiss anything just because it seems small. In my hands, even a brief conversation can be the beginning of a new chapter. I am weaving the story of your life with the finesse of a master craftsman, and every detail carries eternal significance. Nothing is wasted. No delay is without purpose. Everything has been woven together by my timeless wisdom. Yet I continually remind you, stay alert. For the closer you draw to fulfillment, the more the enemy will attempt to create counterfeits to distract you. He will use the very things you long for to craft illusions. He will stir up easy opportunities, shorter paths and promises that sound like me, but carry no mark of my spirit. My child, this is when you must use the spiritual discernment I have taught you in those silent years. Look at the fruit of each thing. Weigh the peace in your heart. Wait for the clear voice, for what comes from me will not bring confusion, nor will it pressure you or demand blind sacrifice. What comes from me will carry a deep confirmation in your soul, a sense of knowing without needing to analyze. You must also learn to say no. There will be things you must turn away from, not because they are wrong, but because they are not timely. Not every opportunity is a door opened by heaven. Not every praise comes from the light. I am teaching you to be selective, not out of pride, but because you carry a destiny that cannot be scattered by good things that are not my best. Some may not understand this. Some may even judge you. But remember, my child, you do not live to please people. You live to fulfill my will. And in this season, your obedience will be the key that unlocks treasures sealed for generations. As the words of prophecy begin to come to pass, keep your heart humble. For glory can be a double-edged sword. It can lift you up, but it can also make you forget the true source of all things. Do not let success cloud your dependence on me. Do not let the applause drown out my voice. Always remember that you came to me in weakness, in brokenness, in loneliness. And I received you not because you were worthy, but because my love is unchanging. In this season, you will see that miracles are no longer something you merely wait for. They will become the very environment you live in. Not isolated miracles, but a continual flow. Every day, every hour, every moment, you will witness heaven's interventions, a pain disappearing, a need being met, a loved one being touched, a dream being reopened. And each time this happens, look up and know your Father is smiling. Heaven is moving, and you are living in the very destiny I have ordained for you since before time began. My beloved child, know this: miracles do not only happen in explosive, unmistakable moments like flashes of light from the heavens, but they are also present in the small yet steady things you live out each day. When you remain faithful in a world full of uncertainty, that in itself is a miracle. When you continue to pray even when you haven't yet seen the results, that is faith, and it is faith that moves heaven. Miracles do not always take the form of instant interventions. Many times they are the quiet strength that keeps you standing firm when everything around you is falling apart. In this season, I want to open your eyes to see that I am at work, not only in the extraordinary but also in the simple. My child, it is in this awareness that you will enter a new depth of contentment and peace. Pay attention to how I am changing the rhythm of your life. In the past, you hurried. You lived in a constant tension, feeling late, left behind, or out of sync. But now I am calling you into a sacred rhythm where you no longer chase time but walk in the fullness of my timing. This is a rest that does not come from ceasing activity, but from being united with the flow of heaven. Every action you take will carry weight. Every word you speak will no longer be a reflex of emotion but an arrow from the heights. Even in your silence there will be presence. When you say nothing but your heart beats in tune with mine, the world around you will still be touched. You will see that in the daily routines, the family meals, the steps you take to work, the small group gatherings without the spotlight, I am sowing the seeds of true miracles. For miracles are not just things that come to impress, but things that bring life. And true life is not always loud. It grows in the quiet. It blossoms in the shadows. It is sustained by roots watered by persistent faith, unseen by any eye. So, my child, do not despise the small things you are doing with a devoted heart. Every act of love, every word of forgiveness, every time you choose to endure instead of retaliate, all of these are carrying my presence. And heaven is recording every one of these details, missing nothing. My dear child, in this season I will also teach you how to become a miracle for others, not only to be a receiver, but to be a giver. Not only to be one who intercedes, but to be the answer to someone else's prayer. You will be placed in situations where your presence is the rescue, where your gentleness becomes a shield against the storm, and where the hopeful light in your eyes revives a withered soul. This is greatness that does not take the form of power, but is shown through the quiet, unwavering love. I will show you that the greatest thing you can do in my kingdom is to love as I have loved, to forgive as I have forgiven, and to give yourself as I once gave my very life for you. Remember this: no one can steal the calling I have placed on your life. No darkness is deep enough to drown out the light I have kindled within you. What I have begun will be completed not by your own strength, but by my power. Keep your heart from turmoil. Do not let the dry seasons make you doubt the source of living water. Do not let the days of waiting cause you to give up just before the breakthrough. I am never late, and what I have promised you will come in its appointed time, bearing the full imprint of my love and the glory of heaven. My child, when you look back, you will see a wondrous truth, that the extraordinary is not just found in grand miracles proclaimed everywhere, but it also dwells right in the heart of your everyday life. You have lived, you have loved, you have forgiven, you have believed, you have hoped, you have taken steps when there was no visible path, and that indeed is the greatest miracle of all. You are not just a witness to miracles, you are the very place where the miraculous resides. My child, when you have experienced miracles, when you have seen my faithfulness woven through every layer of your life, a new chapter will open before you. It is a season not merely to receive, but to be sent out. I do not fill you up just for your own satisfaction, but so that you might become a river that flows outward. No one lights a lamp to hide it under a basket, and no one is anointed just to stay in the comfort zone. In this season, I am calling you to step beyond the borders of convenience and enter the realm of power. This is not power to prove yourself, but to fulfill the divine purpose that was written for you before the earth was formed. You have already walked through years of hidden training in the quiet where only my voice spoke and the world around you fell silent. You have learned to trust me when everything else stood in opposition. You have known what it means to live by a promise without visible evidence. And in that very process you have been shaped. No one saw the sweat of your brow in the secret place, but heaven recorded every moment of your faithfulness. Now you will step into a place where what has been prepared in secret will be revealed openly. The things I whispered to you in the night you will declare in the light of day. The truths I etched into your heart will become a voice that calls out to those who are lost, weary, and without direction. My child, prepare your heart, for the sending always comes with friction. Not everyone will welcome the light when they have grown used to the darkness. Not everyone will understand the call upon your life, for they have not heard the voice that you have heard. There will be misunderstandings, doubts, and even words of criticism sometimes from those who once walked with you in the previous season. So remember this: you are not called to please people, but to fulfill the will of the one who called you. The approval of heaven is far more important than any earthly recognition. When I send you out, I also grant you the power to stand firm, to heal, to build, and to tear down the old religious systems that no longer carry life. You will not walk as someone gambling with chance, but as a messenger who has been anointed. What you carry is not merely an idea, but the living word of the eternal God. Each step you take will be a step of spiritual conquest. Each word you proclaim will be a blade that cuts through the chains of bondage. Each touch of love will be an act that unlocks hearts. And you will see that when you obey, you do not have to manufacture power. The power is already there, waiting for the willingness of one who dares to step out. My presence upon you will be the proof. What you cannot prepare for yourself will be given to you at exactly the right moment. You will not lack the words to say, for I will put my words on your lips. You will not lack the strength to go, for my Spirit will lift you up with every step. My beloved child, one day when you turn back to look, you will be amazed to see that from someone who once longed only for comfort, you have become one who brings healing. From a soul that once needed to be rescued from the depths, you have become the one who builds bridges across the chasms for others. This is a transformation that no human effort could accomplish. It can only come from the power of the one who turns ashes into glory, brokenness into purpose. No one will be able to deny this change in you, for it will be too clear, too powerful, too alive to be overlooked. My child, when you step out in my commissioning, do not expect to be free from opposition. On the contrary, it is precisely because you are walking in the right direction that spiritual resistance will become more evident than ever. Darkness does not remain silent when light appears. The forces that once held ground in the hearts of people will rise up because you carry what they fear most, the truth. You carry the light, and light does not need to be loud to overcome darkness. It only needs to be present. It only needs not to retreat. It only needs to stand firm. This is the time for you to put on the full armor of the Spirit, not by your own strength, not by the wisdom of man, but with truth, with righteousness, with faith, with salvation, with the word of the Spirit, and with unceasing prayer. What you are entering is no longer a battle in the physical realm, but warfare in the spiritual dimension. And you will see more clearly than ever before, fatigue does not only come from the body, it comes from the relentless assault on your mind. Doubt, insecurity, fear, despair, each of these arrows will seek to pierce through if you do not guard your heart in my presence. Child, do not be afraid. The enemy may roar, but it does not have the final say. It may lurk in the shadows, but it does not hold the key to your destiny. For your destiny is not in the hands of circumstances, nor is it defined by others. Your destiny has been sealed from the highest place, a place no force can undo. And more than that, I have given you authority not to argue with the darkness, but to trample it underfoot. Not to live in constant defense, but to know that you walk in spiritual dominion. You will enter places you once avoided. You will be placed among people you once thought yourself too weak to face. But this time you will not walk in fear, but in the confidence that I am with you. When you speak, I will breathe upon your words. When you are silent, my presence will still fill the room. This is a movement not based on talent, but on intimacy. And you who once sat quietly at my feet in solitude will now stand in the midst of community with a spiritual weight that no one can deny. I know there will be moments when you feel alone in the crowd, not because you are unloved, but because what you carry is too different for others to easily understand. Holiness often makes its bearer feel out of place in this world. But my child, remember this, such loneliness is not a sign that you've gone astray. It is the evidence that you carry something beyond what is commonly accepted. Those I have used to shape history have always felt out of sync with their present. You are not misplaced. You are a messenger sent ahead of time. My beloved, in the midst of this battle, I will teach you a precious principle. Silence is also a strategy. You do not always need to respond. Not everyone deserves an explanation. There are things that must be proven by fruit, not by words. There are attacks that must be ignored, not because you are weak, but because your assignment demands your focus. Let me be your defender. Let me be the one who vindicates you amid the noise of those who do not understand. And let the outcome of your obedience be the loudest voice answering every doubt. You will learn that true power does not lie in the loudest shout, but in an unwavering, steadfast presence. There will be times when you don't need to utter a single word, yet your enemies will retreat because the presence I carry within you is overwhelmingly strong. There will be moments when you simply step into a room and the spiritual atmosphere shifts, not because of you, but because of the one you bear. It is at those times you will realize that you are no longer living for yourself alone, but for a purpose far greater than your own existence. One who is anointed is not only called to overcome, but to rescue, to change the atmosphere, and to pave the way for others to step into freedom. My child, after all the trials, clashes, and spiritual battles you must endure as you step out in your commission, now I want you to know something undeniable. You have been sealed by me. Not with the mark of this world, but with the sacred seal of a divine calling from the throne of glory. This seal is more than a declaration. It is a spiritual confirmation that echoes throughout the heavens, causing the enemy to tremble and alerting other anointed ones to your presence. You are no longer someone becoming, you have been established. From this moment on, every step you take will carry the weight of one officially appointed by the Lord of all. Those who live according to the flesh may not understand this. They might still see you through old eyes, judge you by past seasons, and impose limits they have invented upon you. But do not let your heart be troubled. No one has the right to redefine whom I have called. No opinion, rumor, or prejudice can erase what I have written in covenant blood. Lift your head and walk boldly as one who knows exactly where you are sent, why you are sent, and who you carry with you. For from now on you do not walk alone. The heavenly hosts, angels, intercessors, and spiritual partners I bring into your life are not here to control or teach you, but to act alongside you, to uphold you, and bring to completion my word spoken over you. Child, in this confirmation you will no longer walk with hesitation or the need to prove yourself. What I have prepared for you will unfold not through struggle but through an awakening from within. The doors you once knocked on tirelessly will open before your very footsteps, not because you forced them, but because the time has come. This is no longer a season of fumbling in darkness, but a time of clarity where everything once hidden will be revealed, so you may act without hesitation. I will turn all you have patiently waited for into reality, and everything you once wept over believing it lost will be restored abundantly. For all these reasons, remember to keep your heart pure. As you are lifted up, never forget the humility that kept you standing when no one else knew you. Do not let this confirmation become an excuse for pride, for it is precisely the smallness you have embraced that makes room for my power to grow within you. Recall those days when you sat alone with me, writing down every word I spoke, trusting in what no one else saw. It is that very humility where I dwell. And if you keep your heart as at the beginning, I will continuously expand your influence, not for your praise, but so that my name may be glorified through your life. The confirmation from heaven is not like the applause of men. It does not come with thunderous cheers, but with deep peace in your soul when you know I am here, I have seen, and I am sealed. You will recognize this not through public acclaim, but by how the enemy retreats without understanding why, by doors opening that no one can shut, and by strangers being drawn to you by something beyond words, the very presence of me. From this moment onward, you will no longer be merely a bearer of dreams, but a fulfiller of a divine mission. You will no longer wait to be confirmed. Rather, you will become the one who confirms others. I will place my words in your mouth like a sharp sword. You will not speak out of emotion, but according to the living flow of the Spirit. The words you proclaim will break chains, topple fortresses, and raise up those who have fallen, not with a soaring voice, but with authority rooted in the knowledge that you stand firmly upon my word. When you speak, heaven will agree. When you act, angels will move. When you walk forward, the spiritual realm will shift. Know this: when you reach the end of one season, I will lift you up in my name, not for recognition, but to make my name shine brightly in a generation that is parched and lost. I have breathed life into you, not merely so that you may exist, but so that you may become a vibrant echo of heaven on earth. Beloved, when I raise you up and establish you as one who is sealed amidst a chaotic world, I do not only look at your present life, I see through generations past and future. I see the pain, the burdens, and the unfinished stories of your ancestors. I also see what lies ahead, your descendants, souls you have not yet met, lands your feet will never tread, but where your words will resound. Therefore, the mission you carry is not yours alone. It is a destiny flowing through you from those who came before to those yet to come, from the seed buried in the soil to the harvest no one has imagined. Remember, you are not living for today alone. You live on behalf of those who once gave up. You rebuild what was broken by those before you, and complete what was left unfinished because previous generations lacked light or were halted in battle. I chose you not only because you are strong, but because you allowed me to shape you. While many seek to protect themselves, you chose to be broken by my hand and rebuilt by me. It is your willingness to endure rejection, loneliness, and misunderstanding that has made you a trustworthy conduit for eternal things. You do not shout to see immediate results, but patiently sow seeds in dry fields. You do not demand rewards, but remain faithful in small things. This is precisely why I have given you a destiny greater than your lifetime. From now on, you will experience a profound shift in how you perceive your role. You are no longer merely a caller of a purpose, but a continuation of the covenant. What you do will no longer be personal, but will leave a spiritual mark on the atmosphere around you. Every decision you make, whether a word spoken, an act of love, or a life lived wholly amid a compromised generation, is laying a new stone on the sacred foundation for generations to come. When you choose to stand firm, a child somewhere will no longer carry a burden they don't understand. When you choose forgiveness, a lineage will be freed from the curse of bitterness. When you remain faithful, a generation will be granted the door their ancestors longed for but never entered. My dear one, what I am doing through you is not an instant miracle, but a spiritual work extending through time. You are the pillar I have placed between two generations, both a harvester and a sower. There will be seasons when you see the fruits of your labor, and others when what you have planted will never be witnessed by your eyes. Yet do not let the silence of the present cause you to doubt the value of what you are building. In my kingdom, no action is invisible, and no intercession is in vain. The whispers in the quiet of night, the prophecies you declare in solitude, will echo farther than you realize. They will ripple through time, touch unborn souls, and awaken dreams once buried deep in sorrow. You will also be used as a voice to correct the distortions in the spiritual perception of a generation that is still blind, not through criticism, but through love filled with truth. Not through theoretical teaching, but through a life saturated with grace and anointing oil. People will come to you not because you are perfect, but because you have endured suffering and yet still keep the fire burning within. They will sit at your feet to hear not only what you know, but to sense what you live. And in those moments, the anointing I place upon you will flow through you like electricity, awakening sleeping souls and raising up hearts that have been crushed. My beloved, when I establish you as one who bears a sacred destiny, not only for yourself but also for a generation, it is then that I begin to sharpen within you a profound truth: your role as one who carries the word of judgment from heaven to the earth. It will not be words born of emotion or mere persuasion, but living and spiritual words born from the secret place. You will not speak to impress others, but to awaken, to liberate, to turn around the destiny of individuals, families, and entire regions. The word of judgment from your mouth will no longer be mere language, but a stream of life. A single word spoken at the right moment will have the power to move what 10 years of silence could not. A prayer uttered by you at a critical time can change the course of a soul teetering on the edge. You will begin to feel within you a strange urging like fire burning in your bones whenever I desire to speak to a person, to a group, or even to a whole generation. Do not suppress that voice, for it does not come from you, but from the one who dwells within you. There will be times when what you feel compelled to say will be unwelcome to others, may seem out of place in the current atmosphere, yet that is precisely what I am seeking: a courageous person to deliver it. Not everyone will receive it, but if you faithfully speak what I reveal, you have done your part. Remember, the prophet's responsibility is not the outcome, but obedience. The word of judgment I place in you will not come from haste, but from being deeply soaked in my presence. That is why I keep you close to me. You must not drift away from the place of stillness where you learn to discern my voice from the echoes of human hearts. The world is full of noise, and the confusion between intuition and true guidance causes many to lose their way. But you have been trained in stillness. You have learned not to speak prematurely, and I am pleased with that. Therefore, when you do speak, it will sound like a trumpet blast waking a sleeping generation. Those who are awakened will never return to what they once were. I will also take you to unexpected places, rooms where words have been twisted, buildings where power has replaced, anointing places where religion has supplanted a living connection with me. And there I will speak through you. You may not be welcomed. You may face suspicious eyes or even rejection. But stand firm. A true prophet does not seek approval, but righteousness. You are not here to conform, but to cause disruption. Not to blend in, but to separate. I am not calling you to soothe everyone, but to ignite hearts that have grown cold. Let truth flow through you like a consuming fire, not to burn others, but to burn away falsehood and reveal what is genuine. In this season, you will also witness something happening, Some young people will begin to seek you out, not to learn theories, but to find a genuine voice amidst the chaos of falseness. They have heard too much, seen too much, and their hearts are yearning for something pure. You will be the one to touch that deep longing. You do not need to try to be trendy nor alter your words to sound modern. They will not come to you because you resemble them, but because you reflect what lies deep within their hearts, what they have always longed for. You will become a bridge for a generation to return to themselves, to return to the original design given by me. My child, to uphold this role, you must keep your heart tender before me. Do not allow wounds to turn into bitterness. Do not let rejection harden your heart. One who carries judgment cannot speak to a closed heart. The pain you have endured is what I have used to soften your heart. Let the Holy Spirit continue to shape you so that your heart remains capable of love. True judgment is never accompanied by contempt, but by mercy. It is that very mercy that will empower your words without shouting. Just as that love will keep you on the right path when everything becomes heavy. Dear one, once you have fully walked through each season of trial, have held firm in faith amid silence, have spoken words of judgment in the midst of spiritual slumber, and have stood strong against waves of opposition, I will say this to you: the hour of glory has come. Not the glory that the world expects, but a deep, unchanging, eternal glory, the glory of perfect harmony between you and my plan. This is not only the pinnacle of the journey, but the place where you and I become so clearly one that no boundary remains between what I desire and what you hope for. Your mind has been conformed to my mind. Your heart beats in rhythm with my breath. Your will is no longer a plea for choice, but a resounding amen of obedience to all that I decree. You will see the words I have spoken through your mouth begin to come to pass piece by piece, layer by layer, generation by generation. Things that once seemed delayed will now come at the perfect time, as if heaven held its breath until this very moment to release everything. The fragments once scattered will suddenly fit together perfectly. Those once separated will now be reunited. Dreams once shattered will return not as the old images, but as a completed picture with new glory. All will become undeniable proof that God has not forgotten his promises, and he does not overlook any soul who has fully surrendered to him. You will no longer seek validation from outside because you have been sealed from within. My presence will become your living environment. You may not always feel me emotionally, but you will know me by walking in authority with me. That is where I want to bring you, a place where you no longer live by signs but live by covenant. No longer waiting for encouragement to move forward, but walking forward to encourage others. No longer waiting for miracles to believe, but believing so that you yourself become the miracle. You will no longer pray as one far away, but as one in the throne room, knowing clearly that I hear every word and act from that very place. My child, in the final days of this journey, you will not descend into darkness, but be lifted up into the light. A wave of awakening will rise from what you have sown. Others may not know who you are, but they will be awakened by what you have obeyed when no one was watching. They will be touched by your intercessory prayers, the writings soaked in tears, your choice of holiness when others chose compromise. And they will say, "This one did not live for themselves alone, but lived for us." That is the lasting mark, not fame, but an indelible spiritual footprint. My child, know this: every final moment of this season is not an ending, but a profound offering. You are being woven into the very workings of heaven as an indispensable link in the eternal flow of life. I am using the last breath of an old season to sound the trumpet that heralds the new one, and you are the one who blows that trumpet. I want you to be grateful for every tear, for none of them are wasted. Give thanks for every disappointment, for it has laid the foundation for unwavering faith. Cherish every stage that seemed delayed, because it is precisely those moments that have shaped you into the image of Christ. Right now, as one who has walked the entire path, I crown you with the crown of righteousness, not because you never stumbled, but because you never stopped. Your life will continue to echo through generations as an undeniable testimony that God is still seeking those who are willing to obey, still sending forth, still healing, still empowering the faint-hearted. And through you, a new generation will rise strong, uncompromising, filled with the Holy Spirit, carrying the flame passed on through your quiet faithfulness. This is the starting point for a destiny expanding like never before. So rise up, beloved, commissioned anointed one. Your glory is not something you carry with you, it is what you leave behind. And the rest of your days will be a brilliant fulfillment of all I have promised. Subscribe and turn on notifications to receive the living words together, to build unwavering faith, and to walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.